Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we have not just Danea Mackey, but her first coach in her life. You know, Coach Jay, Coach Jen, it is a pleasure to be here today to have you reflect on not just Danea, but see the growth and development she's made in her life. So we're going to just dive right into this. It's going to be a nice opportunity. Relax, you know, we have an expert behind the camera, but we do want to ask a few questions, and you guys can go whichever direction you want to go, but we're going to go ahead and get things started. Coach Jay, you mind if I go Coach Jay or Coach Jen?
What did you used to call me?
I used to call her Coach Jen, so
there you go.
All right.
Coach Jen.
So Coach Jay, it's been a while since you've seen Danea. Please.
In person, close up.
Please, yes, please, just go back in time and just share what was it? Because I think we were talking a little earlier, and I thought you met her on the team, but what was it about her when you first originally saw her?
So I first met, sweet Danea. So she walked in the gym the very first time I coached her older brother, Daryl Jr., and we had our first basketball practice. I was head coach. Your dad was my assistant. I hadn't met him yet. And he came in with you and Daryl. And of course, Daryl goes buzzing straight to the backboard. He's just shooting up hoops. And there's this little girl. I think you were in kindergarten or first grade.
I think so.
Yeah, because he was in second grade. It was a combined team, so I think you were in kindergarten, and you were just this little pistol, and you would sit through the entire basketball practice. You would serve as my helper. You would grab the balls from the boys as they were doing layups and what have you, and you just, from the very beginning, you just had a fire in you, a fire for the sport, a fire to learn. It was incredible. So when the opportunity came that my third child, Phoebe, who was the next in line, when she was in first grade, we started, that was the first year that girls could play basketball in the Fort Hunt League. And I wanted, of course, coach her. And I went straight to your dad and I said, please tell me that you're going to be my assistant coach and that Danea's going to play. And so we were locked in.
I mean, that's just amazing. As times moved on, I know Danea, you haven't had a lot of coaches in your life. But
not many.
There are some memories. I'm certain there are some memories of Coach Jay. If you can go back in time, rewind, go ahead back. What are some memories that you had? This is before that championship run. What are some memories that you had?
Some memories that I had, I don't know. You were just happy and always out there. I remember during practice, all the girls, we would just be doing cartwheels and doing cheers during basketball practice. And I'm like, wow. And she's just like, okay, girls, go ahead. But I knew it was just because you wanted us to have fun and you wanted us to enjoy the sport. So that is a memory I clearly see us doing cartwheels on the basketball court. And yeah, also just like giving the pep talks before the games. I remember you were like, okay, we're going to go out there. We're going to give it our all. And then sometimes we would have like matching bows or matching socks. I remember the matching socks. I might still have them.
Girl power, baby.
Yeah. And just the talks, and we would be in our huddle and we'd be like, okay, girl power on 3, 1, 2, 3, girl power, and stuff like that. So it was a fun time.
That's real interesting. Now, as you saw it came together and you had a lot of fun, did some cartwheels and stuff, but I believe, if I can go back in time, did y'all win a championship?
We did. Our very first year together. We
First
did.
year?
Was it our first year together? Well, I mean, when I coached with you, our boys won the first year. And I think they won the second year. And then we had you. I had very high expectations because the Mackeys were my sweepers. And I think it was our first or second year playing that we won the championship.
Well, that's setting the tone for something that's going to come a little bit later in terms of championships. Now, I just want you to think back in time. Winning a championship, what does that mean? What did it mean to you? You were young. You probably didn't know anything about winning a championship. But to you, Coach, what did it mean to have the last game of the season and be the last team to play and win?
Pure and simple, teamwork. It wouldn't have succeeded unless the entire team was willing to show up, put out, and they did. They left it all on the floor. I mean, at third grade, you all are 10 years old, 9 years old, but you guys were motivated. You wanted to win. You wanted to win as a team, and that's the important part. It wasn't one individual. It was all of you. And all the girls had different strengths. We tried to find them. You just did your best, but we made sure. What do we always make sure? At the very end, if we were up by a lot, and who did I put out in the court? Who would I put out? Do you remember?
I don't.
So I would try to put out the girls who didn't get the most playing time.
I do remember that.
And then what would we do for them?
We cheer on.
We cheer them on, and we'd always make sure I would pull you aside and I said, Danea,
Oh, get them a basket?
give them the basket.
I remember
Let that girl leave today knowing that she was a part of that score. And we would just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it to that one girl or the other girl who maybe only had one basket the whole season. And it's like, come on, let's all win as a team. Let's pull everybody up. You got to elevate everybody.
Exactly.
It's not.
And I remember that. It was just the whole team feeling. And it wasn't about who was going to do what individually. As long as we all played together, we knew we were going to have fun and we were going to put ourselves out there. We're like, okay, we're trying to win this. And all of us had that go-get-it mindset where it's like, okay, we want to win. And like my dad said, like in third grade, and we just got it done. And of course, thanks to you too, because you had our backs the whole way. So.
And the important part was we played around. We had fun. We were playful. We were happy. We were enthusiastic. We were determined.
Exactly.
There wasn't screaming at you. I wasn't yelling at you all. Because I wanted to make sure you all felt lifted up. I hope I achieved that.
Yeah, you did.
Well, not only did you do the coaching piece, but you went a step further with this little girl who I knew from birth. You decided to not only take her to the first championship, but you invited her over. You guys extended more than just a player-coach relationship. I think that's important for young people, but that's part of the reason why we are here now. Because of that start, and it was a marvelous start, she was able to move and do some tremendous things at the next level. Now let's speed up the clock a little bit. And I know we can go on and on about basketball, but there's a few more questions that we need to ask. I believe you had a chance to see her play. I think she was playing on TV.
She was, because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
I did see a couple games during your high school career in person, but this last year it was online, and it was being able to see you all get to the regionals and then play in the regionals. And it was spectacular. I'm sitting there I'm watching my boss lady. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
What did I used to tell you?
I don't remember everything, but I remember you used to call her
boss lady. And I was like, there's got to be one boss on that court. Unfortunately, it is a team, but as I told your brother, because you guys were up top, you got to be able to have one person who goes out, who looks and sees the landscape, because that's for your team. And so you're directing that landscape. You're directing the pivoting and the moving and the directions that you're going to take. You're taking the feedback from your coach. You're taking the feedback from what you're seeing on the court, and you're executing that first decision making. As soon as you cross over with that ball, that first decision point is with you. And so you're the boss lady. And but it also comes because you were captain, right?
Yes.
But it's a natural position for you because you always served as boss lady. It was incredible. And actually, it's amazing because it feeds right into like what you're doing now with your dynamically made. It's just spectacular to watch. But you took the direction when I pulled you aside. I remember it was probably like the first or second week that we ever met as a part of a team. And I remember explaining to you the boss lady concept because I never explaining it to your brother. But I wanted you to take ownership and confidence that what we were doing as a team, you were going to be directing on court. And it comes with, but you were also the first one, if somebody fell down, my goodness, Danea was the first one down there reaching up a hand to pull that person up. And that's what it is pulling everybody up. It's the empathy, it's the confidence, it's the strength for your team. Boss lady.
Wow. I mean, so much is just resurfacing.
Do you remember that?
Yes, the energy that we're getting. We got a few more questions that's coming because you took that little person, and we can say she was a seed, and she's still kind of small. She got small feet, but that's okay.
I
do. You do little feet.
Yes, but she was able to do something that never has been done before at West Potomac High School. I see you rocking a shirt with a championship hanging out a bit. So, can you tell us a little bit about what happened this past season?
Yeah, so the Occoquan Regional Championship. And I had it provided by my brand Dynamically Made, provided by Hoop Planet 2 as well. So it was just an amazing experience. And of course, throughout COVID, things were changing. We never knew if we were going to have another game. We never knew if we were going to have all of our players. We never knew how, like, if our coach is going to be there. So a lot of things were going on during this time period. But we knew coming in to this season, all 4 seniors, we were like, okay, we want to get a championship. We want to make a difference. This is our year. We're going out no matter if it's COVID or not, but this is our time to shine. So we were like, we're definitely going for the regional championship. And that's what we did. We had our plan, we set it, and then we were beating teams by 40 points and stuff like that. And I was like, wow. But the regional championship game, I remember, it was the last couple of seconds. And I was like, wow, we actually did it. And then throughout the last quarter, I was just talking to my teammates. I was like, guys, we can do it. And I would count down. I was like, okay, 4 more minutes, and then we're there. 2 more minutes, and then we're there. I was like, Caroline, 30 more seconds, and then we're there. Just trying to keep everybody motivated. And then as soon as the buzzer hit, I was like, wow, it was just happiness again. And we won our district championship last year. So it was a similar feeling, but since we didn't have a crowd this year, the energy felt totally different. We had to create the energy ourselves. So we were just happy, cheering, jumping up and down, our coaches. And then, a couple tears came down. I was like, wow, we made history, West Potomac history, because girls have never won a regional championship ever there. So it was an amazing experience.
Why do you all think that you won? What did you all say to yourselves, knowing that you were going to this regional championship? You weren't going to have the energy from the crowds. I mean, your dad is energy in and of itself. I could hear him at every game over the TV. But what was it that you all said to yourself? Like, what do you think were the qualities that you all pulled together to make it work?
So first, we planned this every single year, and we would pull aside every single year. What is our goal? So we would set a team goal every single year, and our goal was to make history. And that's what we did. I think that's the most important thing, is setting goals for yourselves together as a team. And then 2, it's just our team feel and our team bond. And we were always there for each other. Like you said, always picking each other up. And everybody knew their role. As long as everybody knew their role and what we were supposed to do, we knew if everybody did their role, we would come together as one. And it would just work as a big system, because we know this person's here, this person's there. And I don't know, I guess that whole idea of coming together, and not just on the court, but off the court as well. We actually had to become a family. We had to be there for each other. We had to check up on each other during this time of COVID as well. So there's a lot of things.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to know your team this year. But the one thing I felt when my husband and I were watching it on YouTube is I felt the cohesiveness amongst all of you. And I think that's to all of your credit, to you as a group, as a team, because it felt like you all cared about each other.
Definitely.
I could feel it. It was like coming through. And that's what I mean. It's like, it's that meshing of the teamwork that lift each other up, because you're only as good as your weakest player.
When you were sharing the title boss lady, boss little lady, little did you know that title was something that this little boss lady had the opportunity to take and apply to a company. She has her own company. Danea, I want you to share a little bit, just a little bit of background with Coach Jay, of how now the boss lady has a company. How did you start, and why did you start the company? What is it about? And could you share that from one boss lady to the next?
So boss lady, now I'm my own boss, CEO, and founder. So it was on a Zoom call for one of my AAU team, CTAP. And it was a life skills class, because they had life skill classes. And then one man on the Zoom call, Mr. Donnie Bullock, he was like, okay, I will give $500 to anybody who's willing to start up their own business, because I just love young entrepreneurs, and I love how they see the world on a different scope. So I was back and forth texting with my coach, because she was also on the call, Leah Tao. Yes. And I was like, wow, like, this is an opportunity. She was like, Danea, you better get it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I will. And I took the chance and I was like, yes, I have my business. And he was like, okay, wow. So if you get your stuff together, that $500 is yours. So I was like, okay, I can do something. So we started off small and she was like, maybe you can just start off with selling shirts and you can just create your name and then put it on a shirt and then start selling it. And I was like, I want to have it bigger than that. I want it to be more of a concept, and I want it so I can build on it throughout life until I can get older and it's like, wow, this is something I created. So I was talking, she was like, Danea, get your logo. So I have my logo on here. She was like, get your logo, get what it means, what it stands for and stuff like that. So Dynamically Made, that's my LLC. I got my bank account for it and it's actually official. It's about inspiring, encouraging, and empowering the young adults and youth and just everyone in the community around you that you can do whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it so you can reach your goals and aspirations, and not just by yourself, but the community and just the creation of synergy with different people and you coming together with different people. And that comes along with me being a point guard too. You want to help people get better. You want to help people see what you see. And that's what the whole concept is about, using other people's knowledge and their backgrounds and their differences and putting it all together to collectively create something bigger than just yourself. So
So great. And I know a little bit about your company because you asked me to join your advisory board.
Yes.
I'm very honored. So who else is on your advisory board and why?
Yeah, so of course you, because you've been there since day one. Just a great person I've been looking at. And then I have Miss Mary White. She was my 8th grade science teacher. She was also my dad's teacher. She was also my brother's teacher. And the way I've just watched her and just interact with the students and talk about her family, I was like, this is somebody I've been watching and I want to continue carrying her traits on with me and passing it on to others. Another person is Coach Leah Tao, my coach, Coach Lee. And the way she just has her grind together, and she started with working a job and she quit her job to pursue what she wanted to do. And that's helping others, helping kids, helping people in the community be what they want to do. I mean, be what they want to be, my bad. But yeah, so Miss Mary White, Coach Lee, you of course, and even my father's on my advisory board because I watch him. He's a businessman and he just go get it. He's just here and there and has all his business ideas, as long as helping others and being there for other people, always willing to lend $20 if somebody needs it. But there's many more. I can go on and on, but those are just a couple.
That's great. I mean, one of my personal mantras is, if you have enough to share, share you must. And you give back where you can, because you're only as good as the community that you lift up with you. So it's spreading your wealth, it's spreading your knowledge, it's sharing your home, it's sharing your life and your success, because it's not all for you. That's such a selfish viewpoint. I mean, it's to be shared, because and actually it enriches my life greatly. We do a lot of philanthropic endeavors, and I do all of them. We not only give, but I also serve, which is really important, because that way you're into the community and you understand what you're lifting up. What is the effect of your time, of your dollar? And it's empowering your community, and that is really strong. It gives back a lot. It gives back a lot to you.
And that's my whole concept. I just want to be able to get where I want to be, reach my dreams and aspirations so I can be there, but be there so I can give back to others and spread the knowledge. So
Love it.
Yes.
Boss lady.
The collaboration, we're moving at a nice pace here. It's almost like we're on a trip down memory lane. And we've taken a pit stop and talked a little bit about business, opportunity, and two boss ladies from one to the next. But the piece that is making this possible, you had mentioned Coach Lee, and I think she has a partner in life, and she has a person that I've had a chance to meet, and by chance his name is also Daryl. You had to get an expert to come over to tape this. You didn't want just anybody doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about that person behind the camera? And it's good because there's a lot of men in your life, and you just don't want to bring anybody into the network. But you chose a professional to come in here and grab this. Why is that? And who is this? Who is the person behind the camera?
Coach Daryl, Coach Lee's husband, of course. He's a wonderful man. He's always been there. He would come to some of our practices, watch us. I would sometimes train with him, and he would be like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. Always being there to push us. But he tells his story, how he came from 757 area, Hampton, and he just tells his story as he grew up, and then he didn't really know exactly what he wanted to do, but he knew he wanted something that he loved. And then he started it, and along the way, he started recording videos and making mixtapes. He made highlight tapes for my brother. He made highlight tapes for me. And then he found his purpose, and he just continued to move on with that, doing something that he loves, which is sports, as well as recording that and putting it together. And that just moved him along the way. And of course, nothing could have happened without God. So that's what he has done for me, and I've watched him throughout the years. So.
Well, I appreciate that summary. But the other piece, as you've talked about the man behind the camera, there's a person behind Coach Gale. We were able to see him on the sidelines. He was doing his thing, and you played with some of their family members. But with Mr. Gale, what do you see when you look at the other half? Because when you bring two people together, great things can happen. What do you see with your husband in terms of the support coach, that he would show up at the games? He was bringing just a different flavor to the table.
Well,
he's a special person in my
Yeah.
life because I've had the chance to
Mine
meet
too.
him. But it wasn't for you opening the door, and it wasn't for him coming. We mentioned Daryl, and he has a book, Conquering Your Purpose, but you have a family, and the essence of family means a lot to you because you treat us like family. But can you elaborate more on, it's hard work, but someday she may have a family, and I know it's hard work, but what are some words of inspiration? What are the benefits of just having?
Okay, hands down, he is my backbone, and a couple reasons. I call him a bit of my silverback because he is the protector of our family, and he is the protector of me, of my interests. You know, me wanting to be a coach, especially when I had young children when I first started. I mean, my youngest, Josh, was in, I think, second grade, and we had a baby. She was a year. I think Phoebe was really young. She was like maybe 4 or 5 when we started. And me taking Saturdays and once a week to go do basketball practice, it takes a lot of coordination with your spouse. And the fact that I had somebody who knew my love of the game, and not only knew my love of the game, but my love of teaching the game, which is two very separate but very combined things, and supporting that and coming to the games and wanting to let me talk about the game afterward, or the referee that made me upset, or what have you. But it's just unwavering support, and it sits inside of you, and it gives you a sense of calm and peace and security that you have a partner who is equal. Let me just be really clear. He is no more and he is no less than me. He is my equal. But we stand beside each other, not in front, not one in back, but we stand next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. And it is amazing to have that. So Danea, tell me about your logo, Dynamically Made. I'm curious about the triangle with the opening.
You got it printed on the sleeve. But Dynamically Made, it's such a broad scope, and it's just an unlimited opportunity of what it can actually mean. But I added this triangle, the opening, and the opening is supposed to represent unlimited opportunities, in that wherever you come from, there's no stop to where you can end. So if you come from a more harsh background where you don't have as much knowledge, you have the power to create and to be whoever you want to be. So that's what I wanted to make it. I wanted to make it known that there's no stop and there's no end to what you want. And then I made a triangle. It could have been any other shape, but I made a triangle to represent faith, hope, and love, and also the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Because without God, I wouldn't be able to make any of this happen. I wouldn't be here. My parents wouldn't be here. So, of course, I just want to thank him above everything. So. I like it. Thank you.
Wow, so that's an excellent, excellent like wrap up of not just the flashback from the early years. I mean, the first coach. I mean, that's a special place to be in someone's life. The first true coach and the first real championship. But taking a young lady and having her that title boss lady and seeing that she's now taking her company and spreading knowledge, spreading the network, and moving. What are some of those things as she graduates from high school that you can advise her or to share with her that will not continue the flow of peace, love, and joy and happiness, but just share some things that you recommend as you move on into this next phase of, I guess you're 18 now?
I'm 18.
Oh, wow. Of womanhood. Young ladies, young bosses.
You can vote. Thank goodness. Get some more voting pool out there. I think first and foremost is to be true to yourself. I know that's kind of a discussion we had earlier when we were talking about all the different schools that have reached out to you so far, and nothing has felt quite right. And so you're wondering if maybe it's not your time. And I think that's something to listen to. I think that you will feel the right setting for you when it comes. And I think it's listening to that. For my advice to you would be to be true to yourself. I know we discussed earlier some of the colleges that have reached out to you that you might be interested in, and nothing felt quite right yet. And I think that it will come. You will know it when it comes because you're standing on your own principles of what you want, what you're seeking for yourself, the voids it needs to fulfill for you. And I think having clarity for that for right now, you don't have to think 10 years down the road. You're thinking of the next 1 to 4 years. Where do you want to be in the next year? What is the setting you want to be to have the best success for yourself? Where do you see yourself in 4 years? Because college is a finite amount of time. It's only 4 years. And it is an amazing experience, but then it ends. And then life begins. As we call it, adulting to my children, because I have 2 kids who are now starting to adult. And it's a big shift for them. And knowing where you come from and what you have been through and honoring that, even if that's not where you want to go back to, but you respect it, and then you move forward because you see yourself somewhere different, and that's okay. It's okay not to want what maybe your parents want or where they see you going, but it's to be true to yourself, and you're an honorable, intelligent, effective woman, young woman, and you'll continue to be so. You're empathetic, you're compassionate. Those are really strong qualities that will bring you a lot of success on a personal level. I'm not talking work. I'm talking about friendships, about supporting your community and your society, about how you feel about yourself when you look at yourself in the mirror every day. It's that strength, it's that confidence and that determination to say, I believe in you and I know that you're going to succeed. And if you don't, you're going to walk your butt back out and you're going to come back to that mirror and you're going to say it all over again and you're going to mean it. I heard a saying the other day. It was some woman and she was a boss lady, awesome boss lady. And she said, it's not the it's not the early birds that get the worm. It's the hustlers, because the hustlers have already been out there and cleared the land. And the early birds, they're just getting the cleanup. It's the hustlers. Just hustle.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Wow. Now, just the final word. I mean, we could drop the mic, but the mics are attached to you, so we don't want to do that. But that was a drop the mic. Not only just a moment where we've been back down memory lane and we've talked about business and you've talked about opportunities. Danea, as you leave this area, we're hoping that someday you'll come back. What's the final word? What is like the goal? What is the goal after graduation?
The goal after graduation, when I come back, for myself or for the community? Which one?
For you.
For myself?
We're thinking the 1-year plan, we're thinking the 4-year plan. And after the end of the 4 years, when you have to start adulting, what do you hope to, where do you see yourself, ideally?
Most importantly, I see myself knowing what I want to do. Right now, It's me leaving high school, going to college, focusing on
Exciting,
all these little
right?
things. Everything is coming together. I just want to know who I am, and I want to find my purpose, and I want to follow that and continue to push through what God wants me to be, and to find the most potential. And then once I get to that point, I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to come back to my community, and then people see me, oh, Danea Mackey, I remember you. Oh, you went to West Potomac High School. I want to be able to come back and to help others who have no idea what they're doing, who don't know how to fill out a FAFSA form, who don't know how to fill out a job application. I want to come back to my community, and then people see, wow, I want to be like her. I want people to be able to listen to my story and then want them to change their
I think those are some really good aspirations. Well, please know I am always here, whether I'm on your advisory board of Dynamically Made or not. I'm always happy to help you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Well, it's good to bring the tears. I tell you.
They always come at the end.
She may have inherited that from her dad, because dad cries a lot all the time. Coach Jay, you brought the tears out, and I think she's made not only a real finite decision to have advisors or people such as yourself on her board, because the people that she's working with now and the people that I've been able to meet, they're going to need access. They're going to need access to the information and the opportunity. With Conquering Your Purpose and CTAB, as cross-trained athletes into believers, with a Zoom presentation. She's already done a couple of Zooms, and watch out. I think we're going to have a featured Zoom coming up this summer with Coach Jay for our audience. So, I don't want to just jump the gun, but I can see how that Zoom, because it's technology now, presentation will be another piece in time. So I want to thank you all. First of all, I want to thank you for opening up your home. It's a great opportunity to be able to come into a home and feel the love, and not only have the reflection. Shout out to Phoebe, shout out to Josh, shout out to the family. They're allowing us there, and we saw what's the little man? What's the little man that was running around? Oh, he's chilling on the side. So it's a lot of love. So
girl or
so
boy?
if there's, I'm gonna just let you have the final word, and we want to thank the producer of this as things come together. But the final word is yours. Anything that may have been missed, anything you want to say. My time is up, and I thank you for
I
yours.
have ever had your dad say.
He keeps going and going and going.
But we passed the final
laughing
baton. And it's yours.
It is. Well, the world is your oyster. It's what you want to make of it. And I love that. I love hearing that you want to come back to your community. You don't have to. It's your choice to. But it is impactful to come back to where you grow up and give back to the people that lifted you up. It's powerful.
Wow.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking the time to actually sit here and do this with me.
You are so welcome. I am honored.
And being there just as I grew up, somebody I can watch. So
Oh, I loved it.
thank you.
It's been a good ride.
Definitely.
It's just starting.
You should have told me to bring the tissues. I didn't know. I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry.
It's always the end. Once I start talking about my dreams and aspirations, and it just hits me.